Hello, beautiful souls. So I'm going to read the final lesson for today, and then I will just have to see how it is that I get these lessons in when I'm on the road. So I'm just going to let it be what it is. And so today's lesson is lesson 338. I am affected only by my thoughts. I am affected only by my thoughts. And so we are recognizing that we cannot be affected by anyone or anything because we are only affected by our thoughts. So this comes back to even yesterday's idea with the thought that my sinlessness protects me from harm. Is that what it is? Let me just affirm. Yes, my sinlessness protects me from all harm. My sinlessness protects me from all harm. And so since our sinlessness protects us, we cannot be harmed. Therefore, nothing can affect us. And the reason that nothing can affect us and we cannot be harmed is because it is only ever our thoughts that can hurt us. Whatever we hold in our mind is the cause. Whatever happens in our experience is the effect. The cause is in the mind, the effect is in the experience. So if I am only affected by my thoughts, then I can change my thoughts. And in changing my thoughts, the source of our thinking is what changes. From ego to God, from fear to love. So let's see what Jesus kind of further extends onto the idea that I am affected only by my thoughts. It needs but this to let salvation come to all the world. For in this single thought is everyone released at last from fear. Now has he learned that no one frightens him, and nothing can endanger him. He has no enemies, and he is safe from all external things. His thoughts can frighten him, but since these thoughts belong to him alone, he has the power to change them and exchange each fear thought for a happy thought of love. He crucified himself. Yet God has planned that his beloved Son will be redeemed. So we are seeing here that this thought, I am affected only by my thoughts, is truly a thought of God. It is one of those loving thoughts that can be exchanged in place of the fear thoughts. And it is this thought in and of itself, I am affected only by my thoughts, that will let salvation come to all the world. In truly accepting today's idea, we can experience an entire thought reversal, but we have to want it. That's what the A Course in Miracles is for, I feel, is allowing our willingness to be expanded and what we value to shift, so that our willingness to know God and the shift to God is what takes place. And so I am affected only by my thoughts. Let salvation come to all the world. It is this single thought where everyone is released from fear at last. There is nothing that frightens him, and nothing can endanger him. Completely unharmable. There are no enemies. He is safe from all external things. And this is even a crucial line, because I even know in my conditioning growing up, we were so afraid of, that boogeyman around the corner, the guy that's going to sneak up behind the garbage can and, do something wacky to us. This was always the embedded fear that was very prevalent, in my childhood. It's because it's in the world, right? And so you're recognizing that there is no enemies. There's no one I have to protect myself from. There's no one I have to defend from. There's no one that I have to separate from to get away from that enemy, that bad person. We are safe from all external things. And mind you, we're not going to do something that's like stupid. Like everything is done through guidance. Everything is done through God. And so if there is a place that we are to go to that will be a detriment to us, thus the will of God, it's just not going to happen. This is why we are protected by our sinlessness, because in our sinlessness we've accepted what we are, and thus we are protected by God. It is his plan, it is his world. He sees everything from the observer perspective, and he sees only his sons. And therefore, by us accepting his will, and he's already said yes and said that it's done, we get led through this orchestration of happiness and bliss, completely unabated by the world that is around, because we live from the world that is within, which is heaven, and that extends outside and around. That's why we're changing the cause here and focusing on what thoughts do we hold. Because if I think I am just a body who can be afraid of these enemies and the external things, well, then I'm not seeing myself as I am, and this will be my experience, the world as we see it now. And so we are realizing here that it is only our thoughts that can frighten us, because they are basically our private thoughts, but we have the power to change them and exchange the fear for the happy thought of love. And basically, he has crucified himself. You know, what is the key to salvation? I have done this unto myself. That is our power. This is our liberation. And this is why it brings salvation to all the world. Because once you know that I have done this unto myself, I am only affected by my thoughts. That's freedom and release to God as we let it happen. Yet God has planned that his beloved Son will be redeemed. So there's a resolution here. We're heading down the pathway to be redeemed. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. The way is sure. And so let's kind of sink into the surety of God's perfect plan with this prayer that has been given us by JC. Your plan is sure, my Father, only yours. All other plans will fail, and I will have thoughts that will frighten me until I learn that you have given me the only thought that leads me to salvation. Mine alone will fail and lead me nowhere. Excuse me, I was trying to hold that in. Okay. I'll read that again. Mine alone will fail and lead me nowhere, but the thought you gave me promises to lead me home, because it holds your promise to your Son. If we really want to learn today's lesson, say this prayer, affirm this prayer, listen to this prayer, read this prayer, and don't stop until you understand what today's idea means for you and how it can be applied in your mind and how you can see through the vision of this idea. For this is what will bring happiness to us and to all the world. God is waiting on this for us to say yes, recognize that we are responsible, choose differently, and be grateful. Your plan is sure, my Father, and only yours. There is only God's will. All other plans will fail. We will have thoughts that frighten us until I learn that you have given me the only thought that leads me to salvation. Mine alone will fail and lead me nowhere, but the thought you gave me promises to lead me home, because it holds your promise to your Son. This is God's promise to us, beautiful souls. Let's say yes today.